What is going on? Welcome to Beastly Thoughts Live. We got a special guest, guys. How's everybody doing?
Awesome.
Fantastic.
All right, we got our regulars. We got Robby here. We got Beastly here. How you guys doing?
Real
Great.
good, real good. Excited.
And we got a new guy. We got JPOTT Gaming here. How you doing?
Fantastic, fantastic.
All right, so JPOTT, for those who aren't familiar with you, what kind of stuff do you do on the internets?
Pretty much gameplay commentaries. Don't really do any reviews or anything, but I do have a wide spectrum of games I like to play, whether it's Let's Plays or just general commentaries. Mainly news. I love getting the news out to people, whether it's current and or controversial. Those are my favorite things. But yes, The Last of Us, Destiny, and Rocket League. It's got a piece of my heart. It really does. Somehow, something so simple and free has stolen my heart.
Yeah. So it's amazing that this game came out for free. I know it's going to suck it down hundreds of hours of people's time.
So far.
I've been playing this as well. I know that Beastly and Robby, you say you guys haven't played this. It's PSN's free game right now. So if you're
I have it downloaded. I just haven't started it yet.
if you're a PS Plus member right now, you can download this for free. And basically, would you describe it as car soccer?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's a combination of two great pastimes, which is remote control cars, and how they integrated all of the jumping mechanics, and it feels like you're doing bicycle kicks, and it's just something, and it's nothing more gratifying than playing online with your friends. I am so glad that there's an online element to it, and that's what makes it so golden. Fantastic game. If you haven't played it, play it now.
Yeah, I jumped on for the first time yesterday, and I expected that we'd play for a half hour and kind of move on to Destiny. We ended up playing for 3 or 4 hours. And at first you're kind of like, this is fun because it's stupid. And then you start to realize, wait a minute, there's a little bit more to this than what I initially thought. Like, you can actually control the flips. You kind of got to get the timing down. So, the ball is bouncing up in the air, but for the most part, you're locked down to the ground. You can drive up on the walls, and you can jump your car. And if you time it just right, you can actually boost. You can jump and then boost to kind of rocket yourself up in the air as well. So there's all these timing and there's like all these kind of maneuvers, and you find out quickly if you play online that people are good at this game. So there is depth there, and it's just ridiculously fun. One of my favorite touches about the game is that when you score, the ball explodes, and if you're anywhere near it, like, the game is just pure fun, and it's free right now on PlayStation Plus, which I think is awesome.
Can't beat that. Cannot beat that.
Beastly, what have you been playing? Beastly? Robby, what have you been playing?
If you guys see me pixeling out, it's because my computer's like a damn fool. What have I been playing this week? I spent a lot of time on my Xbox One this week, believe it or not. I've been playing State of Decay. Now, this game came out a few years ago for the Xbox 360, and I never really had a chance to play it, although I wanted to back then. I was really knee-deep in PlayStation land, and I didn't want to step away from my comfort zone and go and buy something for my Xbox 360. I had 2 of them. But this game was just re-released for the Xbox One, State of Decay Year 1 Edition, and it's phenomenal. I did not expect it to be this fun. Now, graphically, the visual aesthetic looks pretty similar to a last generation game. It's nothing really exciting, but the world that they built is so deep. It really feels like you're playing the Walking Dead. It feels like that you have to figure out what kind of characters you want to let into your group, which ones you don't want to let in. You got to go out and scavenge for goods. Every aspect of what you'd really be doing is in this gigantic open world. It's really a huge world. I didn't expect it to be this big, and I'm a huge zombie fan. I know you are too, Briar Rabbit. And this game just really sucked me in. Also, I've been playing a lot of Destiny this week. Me and my wife have been really going in there, the Prison of Elders. We've been looking for those keys, going out there and hunting, the wolves and getting those chests. And we've been having a lot of fun. I'm almost ready to try to jump into Osiris, but level 32, I don't think I'll be able to fare too well. So
if you got a good team, I finally made it to the lighthouse in 3 tries, and I was nervous. I was really timid about Trials of Osiris, but You find a good team, you got it, man. You got it.
Okay. Well, I know for a fact that the guys here, and yourself included, I really haven't seen you do too much Destiny, but these guys are some of the best out there, especially Briar Rabbit. He is the Destiny guru, so I'm looking forward to doing it. Kate's been wanting to try it, so hopefully this week we'll get a chance to jump in there. Briar's really been on my ass about getting to level 32. So,
34.
now it's 34, damn it. So I'm looking forward to doing that, and I definitely want to play this new PlayStation Plus game. You guys mentioned that, but I've been hearing a lot of people online and on YouTube and friends talking about this game and saying it was like their favorite game right now.
It's so much fun.
Listening to you guys talk about it today, it's really gotten me excited and anxious to play it, so I can't wait to give that a try. But yeah, that's what I'll be doing this week.
I'm going to take you on, buddy.
All right. I'm down. I'm looking forward to that. And like I said, my Xbox One hasn't really been getting a lot of play. I also spent a little bit of time with Sunset Overdrive. Ooh. And this is my first time trying this game. And wow, it's amazing. I did not know that it would be as much fun as it was. And when you see videos, you don't know how big the game really is. It's a huge open world with so much to do. The character models are pretty amazing. And I'm excited to play some more of that too. I probably got three or 4 hours in on that. So it's been kind of an Xbox week. You guys know PlayStation's really been pissing me off the last week or two.
All of us here.
The PSN network has been really spotty. And these guys will tell you, I'm a PlayStation fan to the death. I know you are, JPOTT, too. But as someone who owns all these consoles, I own them all, so I have to expose the truth. And I'm not going to say PlayStation's so great and Xbox sucks ass. When Xbox is doing well and PlayStation is screwing up, I'm going to just tell the truth. And PlayStation Network this week has really gotten on my nerves, so I've taken a step back and really enjoyed my Xbox One, and I'm happy I did.
Well, speaking of the spotty issues with PSN, not to change the subject, but the subject is controversial. PSN, they need to revamp. They need to do something. And now I'm seeing on Kotaku and a few other Polygon these websites now petitioning called, what is it, #BetterPSN?
Yeah, it's a website.
Yep.
I've just been seeing that recently, and I think it's a great movement for these people, because Sony's not going to be concerned about the issue until something, the impact of the consumer, because we are paying customers now. PS3, it wasn't a big deal because you didn't pay for it, know, and with the Xbox 360, I commend Microsoft because they always had solid connections all the way to the 360. And, I mean, they really have that going for themselves to this day. And it's a shame now that we're paying for a service, a premium service considered, because of the free games and stuff. And yeah, it's a kick in the ass. It is. It really is.
The balls, man. Just be
You gotta look at the core competency of each company, though, and of course Microsoft is going to have a better online service. Like, of course they are. Sony's heritage is VCRs and TVs.
Walkmans.
Microsoft's
Sony Walkman
heritage is
all have one.
operating systems, servers, and networking. Of course, they're going to have a better online service. As far as the reliability. But part of the issue with the PSN is that they just keep getting attacked, and there's not a whole lot you can do about that except just throw money at the problem. Just buy more and more bandwidth and more servers. And I don't think Sony's really in a position to do that right now.
Yeah, they're definitely having financial troubles.
I don't know if this is going to go away anytime soon.
Well, I think if there was any facet of Sony's enterprise they spent money on, it's PlayStation. That's their most profitable avenue of revenue right now.
Right.
And I'm wondering right now, I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but as JPOTT said, a group of people on Reddit have actually come together and formed their own website. It's a whole community. I think it's called Make PSN Better. I actually covered this on my channel.
I thought everybody left Reddit last week.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a totally different story. But there's a very vocal community of people who are really upset about this, and I agree with JPOTT. As someone who pays a $50 premium annually, a lot of people say it's not a big deal when PSN is down for an hour or 2 or 3 or 4 hours, but when that's the only time you have to play during that day, it really pisses you off.
Exactly.
It's an inconvenience. It was worse, I think. Was it December when it went down for about a week, right?
Yeah. Christmas? The Christmas attack.
Yeah, that was awful. But,
Yeah.
I mean, how do you blame Sony for that? You know, they built a reliable network that got attacked.
Yeah.
You got to blame the attackers.
Mega Man comes to save the day, you know, and that's what really upsets me is now these cyber terrorists, I think is what they're deemed. Now they know that they can get anything they want.
Mhm.
Now you just made the problem worse, Mr. Mega Man. You rewarded them. Essentially, you rewarded them for their cyber terrorism, and now it's going to get worse. And you guys remember a few years ago when PSN was down for months.
That was the worst.
I mean, I think about Sony's perspective, though. They are losing so much money in that downtime. I mean, there's just no excuses. You've had since then to get it fixed, okay? And it's just, like you said, it's not going to go away. It's not going to go away.
No.
I think the worst part about this
soon,
is
anyway.
that Sony has so many people that have moved over from the 360 generation. They're used to that great online connection, and this can't happen anymore, Sony. You're in the lead this generation. You are by far in the lead. You have so many people playing on PSN now. You can't have the network going down this much. It has always been spotty. I was someone who defended PSN through the PS3 days. Like, I love that console. I defended it, but I can't defend this anymore, Sony. This is getting ridiculous. Your network goes down all the time, and I love this system. I want to see it improve. I want to see PSN get better, and as it stands right now, it can't keep going down this much because people are going to get fed up. They're not going to stand for this much longer. You try people's patience so much.
Especially hurts us Destiny players, you know, where we can't play at all. We can't play an offline
And there's
mode.
no single player. You can't even boot it up because it's an online game. You have to be connected.
Robbie, what have you been playing this week?
Oh, finally. I've been playing... it's okay. I've been playing Destiny this week. I have been playing Crucible and stuff. When the network has been up, I have been playing on PSN. That's pretty much been it. I've been playing Destiny. I really want to get into Rocket League because it looks like so much fun.
It is.
Briar, there must be like Galahorn 2 exclusive or something in Rocket League for you to be playing it. I don't know what it is, but they pulled you in with that Hawkmoon 2 or something, so I got to give it a try.
You know what it is, Robbie? Is that you can play. Here we are back at Rocket League, but you can play with friends, right, on the same team. You can play 2 versus 2. You can play 3 versus 3. You can play 4 versus 4. Or you can play against your friends. And
but are there loot drops?
There are loot drops. That's another great thing about it.
Oh!
After every match, you seem to get something new for your car.
I'm
Either a
on
new car, new
grind.
wheels, new antenna, a new hat.
Sweet Tooth. Sweet Tooth is what I'm after. I'm grinding so hard right now. I knocked 4 hours straight of it, did an entire season flawless. Mind you, it was rookie. You know, but it's a new game. I'm learning, but I'm going to do another season. I'm going on pro. I mean, this game is awesome. It is awesome.
How did I miss this? Jeez.
It came out Tuesday. Man. It's brand new.
Besides Rocket League, I picked up Borderlands 2, the Handsome Jack collection for PlayStation 4. Actually, it's on sale right now on Amazon for $40, which I thought was a really good deal because you're getting 2 full games remastered for the PlayStation 4, and they've updated this game a lot since it came out. Did it come out in February or March? It came out earlier this year.
Yeah, it was March.
Yeah, it was springtime.
And when it came out, people were pretty upset. The frame rate was choppy. There were some pretty bad bugs, but they've come out with a few really big updates. In fact, when you put this into your console, you actually have a 9 gig download. Yeah, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I've been having fun with this. My raid clan in Destiny are all ex-Borderlands players, so they've been begging me to buy the PS4 version of Borderlands so we could play together. So we did. You know, we started that today. I was having some fun. When you're coming off of Destiny into Borderlands, you're going to find that the shooting isn't nearly as gratifying. It just doesn't feel as polished a shooter. The frame rate still has some hitch to it. There's definitely some hitch in that. It definitely doesn't keep a consistent 30 frames per second. But, you know, shoot to loot is a fun thing to do. And, you know, in Destiny right now, especially if you're a PvE player mainly, there's not a whole lot going on. You know, Prison of Elders isn't dropping the loot that we really wanted. So it's nice to have another distraction along a similar vein right now.
Yeah.
Destiny curse has been finally broken, Briar. Yes! You can stop playing Destiny. Finally!
I didn't stop playing Destiny. I was playing it this morning.
Okay, almost.
Got to get that dead orbit ship, man. Got to get those bounties done.
I'm just glad. I mean, I've been on a roll for the month of June, anyways. Last month, I was on a roll. Finally got my Galahorn, Yellowhorn, Jelly Bean, whatever you want to call it. Finally got that. Finally got the Fatebringer. Got some really other good weapons, which was a big kick in the balls this week. Is I did a few Prison of Elders and grinded out for a couple of Judgment chances, and got 2 more Shadow Veil sniper rifles.
Yeah, do they both have Shankburn on them?
No. So that was kind of. I mean, it's not too bad, but yeah, like you said, Prison of Elders and the House of Wolves DLC. I mean, now, while we're still talking about Destiny, I think Destiny is finally at what it should have been on launch. You know, obviously, Crota and House of Wolves was already on disc because people were exploring the areas, but I mean, it finally feels complete, and I'm really excited for Taken King. I'm skeptical, but I'm excited.
I'm very excited as well.
How do you guys think Destiny has evolved over the years? Because that's one of our topics is sort of the year 1 review of Destiny, because about this time last year is when the alpha came out, and that was the first time we ever got to experience Destiny. Do you guys kind of want to go over how the game has evolved and how you felt about it this whole year?
Well, I've got one thing I wanted to point out real quick. When the Dark Below came out and they adjusted the loot system, and I remember and me being one of them, I'm a day 1 player, I remember the hardcore community were so upset because now you're getting these casual players to come in and you're giving them a leg up when these guys have put in 150 hours just to get those weapons and gear. Now you're just going to seemingly give it away. And same thing happened with House of Wolves. It's demoralizing to know, like myself, over 500 hours, and now it's just, gimmies to everybody. I don't know how the Taken King. I'm very, very skeptical. Very skeptical.
We had a new clan member join the Milky Sirloins. That's my raid group. He joined right before House of Wolves dropped, so he had nothing. He was starting from scratch. And he was able to get to level 34 pretty quickly. You run some strikes, you do your bounties every day. You get up to 34 pretty quickly. Really, all you need is 4 legendary engrams or items, and then you'll get to level 34. But he is woefully underpowered compared to other people in the raid group who've been playing. He doesn't have a Galahorn yet. When we go into PvP, he doesn't have Thorn. He doesn't have Red Death. He doesn't have those. He doesn't have Last Word actually. Wow. He doesn't have those power weapons for PvP. He doesn't have them for the Trials of Osiris. And then when we go into the Prison of Elders, again, he's got a lot of good stuff, but he doesn't have those elemental damage weapons that we've been collecting through the Vault of Glass and through Crota's End. So even though he is a level 34, it's deceiving, right? He's not really. He's not.
Yeah, like you're pointing out, he got a quick leg up to get to 34, but he doesn't have everything like a seasoned veteran would have.
Right. So he can play with us.
That's where the hours come in.
He can play with us, which is good. So when we go and do level 35 Skolas, he can play with us. He's not going to be as productive as other members of that fire team.
Yeah.
But, we can help him get through it. I remember bringing people into Crota's End with, all they saw was question marks. They didn't see health bars, they saw question marks. I think actually Beats the Gamer is one of those people. And it's like, you can't really do that with Skolas. You need all 3 of those people to be able to
full communication. Everybody's in tune, and it's a fine line of in tune as well, because if you aren't communicating, if you're not thinking of what the other person is thinking, you guys are going to die. Yeah. I mean, and in early days, that's how Nightfalls were, and the raids were. And I'm really glad to see that the game is maturing. It is maturing, and it just needs a little more time. I mean, I don't mean to talk more about the Taken King, but I mean that better be raising the bar. It better raise the bar, because I mean House of Wolves was a letdown essentially to a majority of the community.
Well, I think it was great for a month, and then it was kind of like, okay, there's just not enough depth here. And the problem with Prison of Elders is it's actually fun to run, but there's no reward for doing it, so the motivation really isn't there. Like those weapons that you get from Skolas, those drops that you get are just not that good. Like the Shadow of Veils is probably one of the best ones, the sniper rifle that you can get. That's actually a pretty decent sniper rifle. But if you compare that to other legendary sniper rifles like an LDR, you're basically missing out on a perk. Like it's got one less perk because it's got that shank burn or vandal burn or something on it. It's kind of useless. It's not that good a perk.
Only like in very
the older
slim situations
weapons,
you can use it.
Yeah, the older raid weapons had that perk plus another one. So it's I don't know.
Beastly, you got anything to chime in on the maturity of Destiny?
Well, as far as Destiny, I'm one to kind of step back from it for a while. I love the game, but in the beginning, the first few months, I did step away because I felt like I needed more. I needed more story. I needed more to be told to me. And over the last few months, I've gradually gotten back into it. I personally think it's a much better game. I think that this year has really crescendoed into what this game is going to be. I think that this first year is a good telling sign of what we can expect out of Destiny 2 or the future expansions of this game. Every few months, they revitalize the brand and make people who do step away jump back into it. And they bring something new and fresh. I know a lot of people were upset when House of Wolves didn't have a raid, but the Prison of Elders and the Trials of Osiris, which I'm still going to get into, are bringing something just as fun, but something just different. Yeah. And so that's kind of a new thing to look forward to, hoping that with every expansion they maybe change a little something, and at the end of all this, we'll have a game that has 15 or 20 different avenues of gameplay, and that's really exciting.
This week's weekly update, they explained a little bit more about how they're going to change the game with the quest mechanics. So like some of the exotic weapons that you can get from Destiny are like the Thorn, where you actually have to kind of complete this quest line step by step. One of the steps that people have problems with is getting 500 points or 500 kills with Void Burn weapons in the Crucible. Then you're not done. You got to go into the summoning pits and play like a special version of the summoning pits that has a special wizard that you got to kill, and people have problems with that. They're actually going to take that kind of quest line and move it forward so that most of the guns, I think, are going to be obtainable this way. So you're going to have a story behind these guns, as opposed to just getting a randomly dropped Hawkmoon, which a lot of people aren't going to remember how they got their Hawkmoon, right? They might remember that they were excited, but was I in Crucible? I can't remember.
Gorgon chest.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's just, I don't know. That's going to be more exciting. Bounties are going to have quest lines. They seem to want to bring more story to the game, more like kind of depth to the game, which I think is very exciting because I think that's one of the things that are lacking.
Well, they're claiming that Taken King is essentially a new game. I mean, cutscenes, storyline. You got the Dreadmount, you got new enemy taken factions, crazy, they're tweaking, and I mean, it looked pretty creepy. They look pretty creepy. The game was already creepy at times, but this Taken King, it's a 1.5. It is this bridge, this segue into Destiny 2. They're getting the story up to date, getting all the new gear up to date, but yeah, Taken King, the new subclasses. Not to go ahead and rag on any subclasses, but I'm pretty disappointed with the Hunter. Okay, just this little bow that
that's the most exciting one.
Oh, come on, that's the hammer. You love the hammer.
Oh man, the bow.
I love the Titan hammer. Yeah, me too.
The hammer, man. I'm telling you, that's
the Hunter's finally got a support class. That's awesome.
Titans finally have a duration-based super though.
So. Yeah, you're only going to get 2 arrows off, and I really don't see it a necessity in PvP, maybe PvE. But
it's definitely going to be a PvE.
Yeah, I don't see that being useful at all. You're going to stay with your golden gun or your blade dancer. There's no sense in switching. But maybe, hey, I'll give it benefit of the doubt. I give a lot of things benefit of the doubt. Maybe it will be good. But
I don't think the Hunters needed any help in PvP.
No, definitely not. Not dancing around the way they do. Hell no, they don't need any help.
Should we move on to the news, guys?
Yeah, let's do it, guys.
All right, what do you got, Robby? What's our first story of the day?
I think one thing we should go through is, because we're in July now, amazingly, we're already halfway through 2015. We could definitely go through some of the games that have come out so far this year. How are you guys feeling about 2015, the year of gaming so far? How are you feeling at this point?
I'm really looking forward to the second half.
I think we all are. Yeah. There's so much coming out.
Nothing's going to really happen. I mean, there's still things coming out here in this year, guys. I mean, we got Fallout.
Yeah, Fallout's the
That's
big
all you
I mean,
need. I mean, that's it. Do you need anything else to fall? No, you don't. No kidding.
I think
2016. I think 2016's got a lot of potential.
Yeah,
I think that,
Sorry, go ahead.
not a problem. I think that this year so far has been phenomenal. A lot of people may not agree, but I think that we've seen some fantastic games this year. I've had a hell of a lot of fun in the first 6 months of this year, and I know that for the remainder of the year, especially on Sony's side, there's a lot left to be desired. But there's a lot of great games still coming out this year. I'm excited, period. You know, as someone who loves gaming across all platforms, but I got to say that 2015, the first half of the year has been phenomenal. There's already so many Game of the Year contenders that I've played, and I could go back and play any of them right now and be super excited because I had a ball with them. I'm still having a ball. So to me, this year compared to last year, already beats last year, and we've only been halfway down the road. So to me, 2015 has been great. I'm looking forward to the end of the year. I'm looking forward to some surprises because you don't let your left hand know what your right hand's doing all the time. So I'm sure we're going to see some things toward the end of the year that we don't know about or we aren't expecting quite yet, and I'm looking forward to those surprises.
Especially because 2016 is going to be the year to play 2015's hottest games, as we know, because all the delays. So that seems to be how it is. 2015 was 2014's year, and now it's just all over again. So.
And 2016 is 2014's year, the way it's going.
I mean, it sounds like it's going to be a Tom Clancy 2016. What, they got 3 titles?
Yeah.
Something like that? You know, the Wildlands. I'm excited for the Wildlands. That looks awesome.
That does.
Oh my god, that was an amazing reveal at E3. Yeah, I was super excited about that.
Any of you guys excited about Ghost Recon?
Not really.
No? Oh, man.
It looks cool. Like, I'll probably give it a shot, but it doesn't. It's not.
It's just. Go ahead.
It's not like really. It doesn't get me all tingly like something like Fallout does, or
doesn't get you all tingly, Briar.
The Division.
Yeah,
tingly. You gotta do the fingers.
You gotta do the tingly fingers.
God.
Maybe I'm grasping at straws, guys, or like living in nostalgia. But I remember when Ghost Recon came out on the Xbox and on the PlayStation 2, and that was like when the first home console internet was available, and I played online against people, and that game really did change my life. As far as being like in a military shooter online against other people, there was no voice chat or any of these new necessities we have nowadays. But I'm hoping in the back of my mind that they're able to rekindle some of that fire. Of course, it's not brand new again, but I want them to be able to make Ghost Recon something viable and something exciting like it used to be for me. Jungle Storm and Island Thunder for Ghost Recon blew my mind, and that was, God, almost 20 years ago.
Those are completely different games, though, than what they're putting out.
Yeah, but I want that.
This game is similar in that it's a first person. Those weren't even first person.
No, they
third person. This is similar in name only, I think.
And see, that's the thing. I'm living like in nostalgia and what I want. I want to feel that way again about a game, but there's only so much you can innovate, I guess. Hopefully, Ghost Recon, because the last few ones that they made, you guys know, were pretty terrible. I want Ghost Recon as a brand to be viable and meaningful again for gamers. So
yeah, this is kind of off topic, but do you think nostalgia sells? It seems to be doing well because
hell yeah,
they're trying to get the older people like all of us here in your 30s and 40s. Hey, there can be 40-year-old gamers out there. Come on now, But there's a lot of nostalgia with games, and maybe that's why they're porting over certain games and going back to the reboots and whatnot. Like the Tomb Raider. I was so excited about Tomb Raider that was rebooted and now into a next generation franchise.
Yeah.
I'm pumped.
Yeah, they did an excellent. That's what was exciting to me was that they actually did a great job with it.
Yeah, the PlayStation 1, messing with Lara Croft, and her boobs got bigger with every game. It was great.
She got more sexy as the polygons got more in depth.
Yeah, big old square boobies, man.
Oh yeah, JPOTT.
We moved on from those.
Sorry. I got to bring a little flair to it.
Somehow, back in those days, that square boob seemed still inappropriate, didn't it? Now it's perfectly round, and everything's all good again.
That is a gamer statistic fact that Laura Craft, she increased in size with every title.
It's true.
I gotta
think
tell you guys.
Go ahead, Ronnie.
Go ahead. Okay,
No,
I was gonna say, I gotta tell you guys, just thinking about this, I think without nostalgia, Nintendo wouldn't be even here today. I gotta be honest.
Absolutely.
Wii U is solely living off nostalgia because they have lost the third parties. They have lost just about everybody. If it wasn't for the nostalgia people have for Nintendo, I guarantee, like, they wouldn't be in the console race right now.
They still sell to kids. My kids really like Nintendo, and they don't feel that nostalgia.
But everybody buys the console for their first parties because they grew up playing Mario and Zelda.
Yeah.
If they didn't have that nostalgia factor, there's no way they'd be able to do it. There's no way they would be able to survive like this. Do you think Sony or Microsoft could survive without third parties like Nintendo has? No way, because Nintendo has that.
Sony and Microsoft don't have the first-party software.
They do.
All of itself.
Sony does. Microsoft does.
Sony does. Yeah, I
Sony
agree with Brett on that
definitely
one.
does.
I agree with BC 100% that.
You're
I think
telling
Sony
me
has
that
a strong
Sony-
first party.
First party is as good as Nintendo's?
But he didn't ask you if it was as good.
Not
He
as
said-
good, but
I would
very
say it's
strong.
not even close. In fact, most of what they're putting out is second party anyway. It's like kind of this quasi, like, exclusive deal, like The Last of Us with Naughty Dog. That's not
if you
first
look
party
at
software. They're not developing that in house. They're just paying to make sure it gets developed for Sony platforms.
for me, like if you look at a game like PlayStation Battle Royale, All Stars Royale, that's PlayStation's brands. And
Yeah.
each one of those characters means something. And of course, they're not going to stand up to Samus Aran. They're not going to stand up to Star Fox.
I would say it's not
Mario,
even close.
and Donkey Kong.
In fact,
Yeah, I
All
wouldn't say
Stars
it's
is
close,
a
but
completely forgettable game.
yeah,
Kinda.
compared to Smash Brothers, yeah.
Compared
But
to
for
like, anything that anybody actually remembers. Has anybody on this call actually played that game except for Beasley?
I've played it. No, it was a good game. It's a lot of fun, but because it's compared to Smash Brothers, of course it's not going to be remembered. So it was good, though. I liked it.
well, for me, it's like this. I'm 35 years old. You guys are up here with me, except for Robby.
You're an old man.
People Robbie's age grew up playing. People Robbie's age grew up playing these Sony first-party titles. There are
Yeah.
people out here who think Kratos from God of War is just as important as Mario because they grew up in that era. So the time is changing, games are changing. I don't think Sony's first-party titles will ever be able to match up, at least right now, to any Nintendo first-party. But I think that at least Sony has a viable first-party selection. Microsoft doesn't. They got like
They have
2 games.
They have tons of studios too. Like so many first parties, we still don't know what their studios are working on as of games. Like Guerrillas was announced. Horizon Zero Dawn looks freaking incredible. There are
Yeah.
other games like Dreams looks really cool for Media Molecule. They still have so many studios that we don't know what the heck they're doing. So hopefully some of those games.
Black
in
Gorilla's
2016
doing something other than Killzone.
I would
It
agree
looks
with that.
so good. Oh my god, that demo was
I
amazing.
commended Gorilla for stepping out of the comfortable zone and making something new. I mean, I commend just like The Last of Us. Last of Us was a fart in the wind. It was an idea. That's what it was, you know. And look what it became. It became a passionate community, you know.
Yeah. It became my favorite game of all time.
I couldn't agree more. I concur.
It's so good. Don't you got to stop.
Bringing
Briar's
it
gonna.
back to Nintendo.
Yeah, back to
There's a rumor. Last week we talked a ton about what we thought the Nintendo NX may be, or what we hoped it would be, and it looks like all our dreams are going to be dashed because
Yes.
I'm
there's
scared
a
of
pretty
this.
reliable rumor out there that the Nintendo NX will not be on the same level as the PS4 and Xbox One in terms of processing power.
Don't do it, Nintendo.
This is
This
bullshit.
is suicide for your console if you do
This
this.
is
Don't
bullshit.
do it. Don't do it.
I would
all can
imagine
say.
that your pleading voice is landing on deaf ears at this point.
Yes.
That console is probably fully developed at this point.
It's probably somewhere close. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, if it's finalized, there's no reason they're going to change it. But if they have an underpowered console again, there's no way they're going to get third parties in there. If they don't have third parties, they can't survive much longer like this.
This
And
is
I don't
just
know
a
what they're
rumor.
doing.
It comes from a tweet, by a guy who's been right about these things in the past, but it is a rumor. But God, I can't imagine Nintendo putting out another underpowered console right now.
They can't be this foolish. There's no way they're going to do it again. They can't be that dumb. Like,
I mean, the tweet alone says it all, doesn't it? You want to read
Yeah.
that?
I don't have it up on the screen right now. I'll bring it up.
I got it right here for
Okay,
you.
go
He
ahead.
says, The NX is definitely not aiming to compete with the likes of PS4 on a power level. Absolutely sure of that now.
Jeez,
So,
that kills me right there.
Sinking ship, man.
My heart just sank.
This is really depressing as someone who grew up with Nintendo, and in the back of my mind and in my heart, I want to see them prevail and succeed. But you gotta have someone in those offices with half of a fucking brain, okay?
They're just stuck in a different time zone. It just seems like they don't understand
They'll
what
run
modern success is. Like, things are changing.
So, all right, well, let's back up a little bit here. I mean, let's not call doom and gloom for a console that we haven't even seen yet. I mean, the reason I'd like to see it be pretty much on an equal platform as the PS4 and Xbox One is because I'd like to see third-party games be able to just be ported over to the Nintendo NX, right? Is when the next Call of Duty comes out, I want it to be, right over there on the Nintendo, so people who are Nintendo fans don't have to be, buying two consoles, right? They just be happy with their Nintendo and get all of the other games too. They could get their Call of Duties, their Battlefields, their Destinies. They could get all of that stuff. The way it sits right now is it would cost a fortune to develop another version of, let's say, what's a current gen game that just was released? Batman. The latest Batman movie or game, to port that down to the Wii U, it just doesn't make sense financially. It doesn't make sense to spend all that money when it's not going to sell. But if it doesn't cost that much, if you're basically just moving the copy over there, maybe then they can start to build that third-party support. Maybe Nintendo can start writing checks. But if the console is again completely different than the other consoles, they're not going to ever get it to happen.
They got to write a lot of checks to a lot of third parties. They got to get that Hawkmoon 2 exclusive to the NX. They got to do a lot of stuff.
I'm moving over right now.
Exactly. See, they got you. They got all the Destiny players.
Throw Destiny.
Yeah. I mean, but you guys got to think about it. I mean, are they trying to tailor to a new audience by this low-cost system hardware? I mean, what's the console is not going to sell for $500 because it's not in that price range. But there are people out there like China. I was not to get ahead of ourselves. We'll get to that here in a little bit. But yes, I think they're keeping it down because they're trying to tailor to a middle class society. Do
you think that
don't have all the money for all this expensive hardware?
And is it possible they could be tailoring this new hardware to coincide with their mobile offerings in the future as well? That's a possibility.
That would make complete sense to me because they're trying to join the two and then create one entity.
A whole new genre, a whole new generation of gaming, I guess. What Briar said really resonates with me, though. For Nintendo, for me to succeed mentally, they would have to have hardware that is at least kind of comparable to what we have now. If they don't, it's going to be a dead console. I mean, it's going to be hard for them to continue to survive on first parties alone. They don't have any third-party support. They don't have anyone as far as third-party developers who are willing to work with them. And sometimes it works out like Bayonetta 2, but that still didn't sell enough to make any real dent in the gaming industry. They've got to cut lots of checks. They've got to work really hard. They've got to have hardware that's at least on the same table as the competition. And I like how they word it in a certain way. Nintendo's been doing this for the last few years. We're not directly in competition. Yes, they are. You're a video game console company.
They're in competition for demographics.
It's one of those situations where if you're in a fight with someone and they're kicking your ass and you're surrounded by people and you look at the audience and say, I'm not even fighting them back. This is not even a real fight.
It's a great analogy.
That's the truth of what's going on with Nintendo. They gotta, they've got the first parties. They've got the development. Their development has always been top notch, 100%. The games always work. They're always beautiful and they're always fun, right? They need to take some of that and bring it over to their hardware and work just as hard. Bring it to the third-party developers and say, hey, look, we've screwed you in the past. Our door's totally open. Let's start fresh. Let's start new and see what they can do. Because if this is another Wii U, the exact same situation is going to play out. When the Wii U came out, people didn't know what the hell it was, first of all. And then when people realized it still wasn't as powerful as the PS3, or right there on par with the PS3 and the Xbox 360, when we got a whole new generation just getting ready to be born, nobody wanted it. And I just hope that they work this out. There's a lot of people who are really vocal about Nintendo's future, and I want them to succeed, but they got to be smart enough to know when to hold them and know when to fold them.
I hope they could pull a Sony this generation and sort of wake up from the PS3 generation, because they realized, like, whoa, we screwed up. We made it way too expensive. We scared off developers with the cell processor. Let's change things around. Let's make it accessible. Let's make it affordable. Nintendo needs to wake up and realize they need to do these things. They have the money to spend on third parties. Spend that money. Get your third-party exclusives. Wake up and get those deals going, Nintendo, because you are not going to survive off your nostalgia and first parties much longer. People are leaving your console day by day. Every console you produce goes down in sales. Every generation, you're less and less sales. You got to change what you're doing, or it's not going to work.
This is what they have to change, Robbie. Nintendo fans grow away from Nintendo because Nintendo's games stay in the same age group. It's tailored for younger kids, and younger kids grow up. And when you get done playing Mario or jumping around with, one of these childlike characters, and you see Gears of War, you see The Last of Us, or Call of Duty, or Battlefield, you're like, I don't want to play the kid stuff anymore. I'm going to move on. So Nintendo has to open up the door for a generation gap. It has to be more than one tailored group. They got to have mature games for everybody on their console this generation.
Absolutely.
That happens for some people. Some people just want to play Mario forever.
Yeah.
Apparently.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on, guys. I'm sorry?
I was going to say, what's next? What's on the next topic of discussion here?
I don't know what this game is. Ark Survival Evolved has already sold 1 million copies through Steam Early Access. I'm not a PC gamer. What is it?
You don't know about that game?
Okay, Ark Survival. Okay. It looks... I haven't physically played it, but this is one of the many reasons why I want to own a gaming PC. I mean, I got to play H1Z1, but Ark Survival, I've seen the Funhouse guys playing it, and it's just a primitive dinosaur world, and you just live in it. And it's online implemented, and it looks fun, but just like many other games, it probably looks like it might get boring after a few hours.
Yeah, this is the one that's kind of
like game that you bring your own fun, right? It's like you get together with some friends, and the fun comes from your interaction with other people.
Like Destiny.
It's amazing that it sold 1 million copies early access.
That's crazy. Like, everybody's streaming it on Twitch too. You can see the success of this game. Yeah. It's been very successful.
I'm trying to remember. I think now I've seen images of it. This is kind of like DayZ, H1Z1, but instead of the undead, you've got dinosaurs, correct?
Yeah, kind of like Rust.
Kind of like the forest, yeah.
Dinosaurs.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of games like this, but this one is really popular.
It looks fun. I mean, I give everything benefit of the doubt. I'm open-minded to everything, and from what I've seen on the internet here, it looks like a lot of fun. But you have to be with friends. You're not gonna play it by yourself. 'Cause I tried that with H1Z1, and that's not any fun. Okay, you gotta play with friends. And since we're talking about Steam Early Access. I think this game has a lot of potential, and it has a chance to really make something of itself, especially with 1 million in early access sales. That's a good sign of better development. I mean, I can't wait for it to come on PS4.
Let's keep your fingers crossed there. We're still waiting for H1Z1 on PS4.
Yeah, we're still waiting for H1Z1 and many other things. But
coming 2026.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so Ubisoft's Zombie reportedly rated for PS4 and Xbox One in Taiwan. For people who don't know, Zombie U came out for the Wii U. It was, I believe, a launch title around the time that the console first came out. And it was a very foreboding, creepy, post-apocalyptic world where you actually use your gamepad to open up bags, and it's all done in real time. It was a really scary, creepy game. Ubisoft is apparently porting this to the Xbox One and the PS4. Is this something you guys may consider trying out? Now, I'm going to say this personally. Probably not for me. Probably not for me, because I have a Wii U, and I can get it for $8 on eBay. So if I needed to, I could just do that. Now, if they do offer some new perks, new stages, a new multiplayer mode, maybe a possibility. What are you guys' thoughts?
If this is a new game, like a sequel, then I'll probably get into it, because Zombie U is really, really good. It was actually a pretty underrated game. No one played it. I really like that game. If it's basically the same game being ported, Nah, I probably won't get into it.
Well,
I
to chime in
agree with
on
Robby.
what you just said, it was a Wii U game, and going back to what we were talking about earlier, Nintendo actually stepped out of the boundaries and tried to make a violent game. You know,
Yeah.
I kudos to them because that's not really tailored to kids. It's kind of tailored to the teenagers and
Adults.
the more mature crowd. You know, but of course kids are playing it, and it sounds like they enjoyed the hell out of it. So from what I've seen, I'm excited. If it comes over to PS4, I'll definitely check it out.
That's part of the reason I bought my Wii U, because it seemed like they were getting third parties on board. They were getting these mature titles like Zombie U. That's why I bought it, but they did it at launch and then just kind of stopped. So
Yeah.
I hope they do it more with the NX. Like, hopefully they actually continue.
They kind of stopped everything with the Wii U. Honestly, after launch,
The pulse wasn't even there. It's just no. Nothing.
So the beta for Call of Duty Black Ops 3 will begin August 19th. Who's signing up for that?
I'll check it out.
Yep,
Yeah.
I already pre-ordered the
Okay.
game on both consoles. I'm getting it. It starts on the 24th for Xbox
Both
One.
consoles, Robbie, really?
Holy hell,
Yeah, but-
Robbie!
It's going to be the 19th for
Wait,
PS4. and then
19. It's 19. Yeah.
Yeah.
Robbie on both consoles.
Yeah, I pre-ordered for both because I like Call of Duty a lot.
Showing
Well,
his support.
even though Advanced Warfare completely lost me, I really appreciate what Sledgehammer did. They did a phenomenal job with that game. I just couldn't get into it. The gunplay fell off to me. The axle movement, people were just flying around everywhere. It was too complex. But I love Call of Duty. This looks like a return to Call of Duty for me. I love Black Ops 1 and 2. Love Treyarch. Super excited for this.
I am looking forward to playing the beta because if it feels good and the net code is good, I will buy the game. If it feels crappy, I'm not buying this one.
the voice of the people.
Yeah, you don't want to pull another Ghost. That's all I gotta say.
I loved Ghost. I thought Ghost was a fantastic
I like Ghost
game.
too. It got way
Advanced
too much
Warfare
hate.
felt like a step back as far as online play went. They lost the strategy of it. It became so random, and it was just not a fun game to play online. I just didn't like it.
It was so hard to shoot people because they're just jumping everywhere. It's like, I just can't do this.
Yeah,
It's too
you're trying to
The
capture a
last-
flag. There's like 8 different directions for people to come from.
Jumping everywhere.
Yeah.
The last great Call of Duty game was Black Ops 2, and it's gradually gotten worse. I think Ghost is better than Advanced Warfare, but I'm looking for them to return to form, honestly. So I'm looking forward to this beta. Can't wait to try it. All right, so continuing on with the news, guys. Horizon Zero Dawn will be a single-player experience, no multiplayer. What are you guys' thoughts on this?
Good. Don't force multiplayer down our throats. If it's a single-player game, leave it that way. And it looks stunning. I can't wait for this game.
We all know
Yeah,
how bad that could go with games like The Last of Us.
Oh,
Yeah.
get the hell out of here.
They're going to be doing bitch bombs
Get
and
the hell out of here.
running.
The last-
Last thing we need is another fucking set of bitch bombs.
That's what he calls Nick.
No kidding.
For the co-host, that's what he calls a nail bomb that you drop inside of a box. Okay, a bitch bomb. Yeah. The
It's
last-
an oldie but a goodie.
yeah.
I think this is cool. You know, there's no reason a game has to have multiplayer. Offer a great single-player experience like BioShock, and you got something special on your hands.
Well, that's what's a bummer nowadays is because people they judge a game before they even purchase it. If it has online, if it doesn't, screw it. And that's the kind of desensitized world that we live in is multiplayer. And I commend Guerrilla for stepping away from Killzone and making a new IP and going for that solo core experience. They're wanting to do something different, and 2 thumbs up. I'm excited. I'm excited.
I've even seen reviews of games where people like give it an kind of take a point off because it doesn't have multiplayer. What's with that? Who said it has to have multiplayer? That's ridiculous to me. Are you kidding me?
If you think about
as-
people who are going to buy a game like every 6 months, multiplayer is important because the value proposition, the dollar per hour, goes way down when you have multiplayer because the
Unless
amount
it's
of
terrible.
time you spend with that game goes up exponentially. So as far as value goes, especially if you have limited funds, you want a game that's going to provide an awful lot of experiences. And an 8-hour playthrough of BioShock, even though it was a great playthrough, doesn't necessarily represent the value that a Call of Duty is, even though you could very easily argue that BioShock is a much better game. So I don't discount people who look for multiplayer games because not everybody can play every game that comes out.
And some people don't even have the internet.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's actually really good. I commend a company that's willing to step outside of the box. Sometimes it doesn't work out too well, the Order 1886, but some games and some companies might be able to pull this off really well. I'm hoping that Guerrilla's able to. For me, they've had issues really crafting stories that have really pulled me in with the Killzone series, and I'm hoping that they learn from this. Maybe hire Neil Druckmann or somebody to write for Horizon. But I'm looking forward to it. The game looks really exciting, and if all signs point to this game being an amazing game, and until I get my hands on it, that's where I'm going to stay with this. So.
No kidding. The concept looks just so cool. I mean, you're fighting robotic dinosaurs in like a prehistoric, futuristic world. Damn, man. Like, I'm buying that day one.
I can't wait to hear how they justify this in a backstory.
Moron. It's amazing, but it's true. That's exactly what they're going for. I think I'm excited. I'm excited to see more. Is what I'm excited about.
Yeah, it's so cool. I can't wait for this damn game. I love the concept of it. It's just so badass.
So, guys, the Warcraft movie is nearly finished. Studio is discussing plans for a trilogy. Anybody surprised by this? I mean, every movie's a trilogy now, right? If they get tie this into sci-fi, a book, or video games, they're making it a trilogy.
I mean, hey,
or TV shows from the 80s.
They did it with the Human Centipede, so I guess it'll work with anything.
Oh, God.
Robby just threw up a little bit.
Nice.
I haven't actually seen that movie, but I've watched the trailer for it. No, thank you.
JPOTT, are you a World of Warcraft player?
I am not, unfortunately, for this conversation. I am well aware of it. Okay, I've seen it played. I've had the opportunity to play, but I'm just not a PC. I just can't sit there with 3 fingers. You know what I mean? And
yeah. Speak the truth, baby. Speak the truth.
Hey, I played H1Z1. I probably had 20 hours into that one, and that's a lot of left arrow, right arrow, mouse click. I mean, call me lazy. I prefer a controller.
They got the WASDs. Yep.
WASD. Yeah, I've never played Warcraft, even though a friend of mine gave me like a 30 or 60-day pass. I just passed on it. But I have played games like Silk Road Online and things like that. But like JPOTT said, I gravitate towards the console experience more than I do the PC experience. I was 30 years old before I even played a PC game with the WASD. So it was too late for me. I already learned how to speak English by the time I was 4. Learning to play with a fucking computer was way too late. People still asking, they're like, why don't you play the PC? I'm like, these hands don't work with it. I'm past that era. And that's my situation. But I think movies are great, so hopefully the movie's pretty good. Hey, it might make me want to try the WASD.
And then that's another reason why I've always generated to console gaming is because there's nothing more comfortable than your couch.
Yeah.
And a big old TV. It's just nothing more comfortable than that.
When I started PC gaming, too, it was all about drivers issues and boot disks, and it was
optimization problems. It's terrible.
Oh, good God. And it's still like that. I actually just installed Windows 8 on my Mac because I needed it for software.
I know how excited you were about that.
And it's like, you know what? Now that I have Windows 8, I might as well download Fallout 3. It's been a long time since I played it. It's cheap to get on Steam. Could you run it? No, you can't fucking run it.
There's a lot of
you gotta configure this. You gotta make this happen. You gotta download Windows Live and go fuck yourself. Pull out my Xbox 360. Keep on PC gaming.
The problem is, Briar, that Fallout 3 isn't optimized for Windows 8. Like, I play it on my computer. You have to change the settings, like the service pack. You have to make Windows XP. There's a lot of things you have to change to make it run properly.
I know what the problem is. The problem is I don't give a shit. I'll play the Xbox 360 version. It's really, I'm just not interested in it.
It does.
But a Warcraft movie, if they make a good movie, great. If it's a shitty movie, the Warcraft license is going to bring me in. PS4, file this one under, thank you, Captain Obvious. PS4 is by far the most profitable platform for Ubisoft.
I'm just reporting the news. What do you want from me?
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to whoever wrote the story. Of course it's the most profitable platform for Ubisoft. It's the one that sells the most copies.
Yeah. Now, I'm trying to keep myself from laughing to myself to death with your the way you express that. Ubisoft said that Microsoft's Xbox One and Xbox 360 were responsible for 11% of its earnings each. So the two combined was 22% of the earnings in a 3-month period of this year. And the PS4 was responsible for 27%. The PS3 was also responsible for 11%. So the PS4 with Ubisoft sales is actually outperforming the Xbox One and 360 combined, which is something else.
That's the news here. Yeah, that's the part of the news.
Everybody knows that the
I'm Captain Obvious.
The Xbox One isn't selling. I thought the most interesting news in this story was the fact that the PC is number 2 for sales on Ubisoft. Yeah, PC gamers can't stand Ubisoft. They constantly are coming out with crappy ports. But the fact that they're selling less on the Xbox One, that's not surprising to me at all.
Ooh, and the last little bit of news is really sad for me. As an old gamer and remembering that the Metal Gear franchise on the PlayStation 1, Kojima Productions is officially no more, guys.
That's sad.
They've been officially
their last game.
Yeah, and they say it's their crowning achievement. A lot of people in the know in the gaming industry are saying that this is by far the best Metal Gear game. I would venture to say it's probably true, but Kojima Productions is no longer, and now Hideo Kojima is free at last to do whatever he wants in the world of gaming. So I'm pretty sure their headhunter is going to be everywhere after this last Metal Gear game comes out, paying this man whatever he wants.
What do you think his next project will be, Beasley?
I could see him making a Dance Dance Revolution game. No, I don't know.
Solid choice.
I don't know.
Solid choice.
The thing is, when he's been kind of pigeonholed in this situation for a number of years. This espionage, spy, Splinter Cell type of experience, and so for me, I would want to see him to go the total opposite direction. I don't want to see a spy or espionage game. Maybe a little bit longer, a little later down the road. But right now, I want to see him just let his imagination run wild and make something crazy, like he was doing with Silent Hill. That was something totally out of left field for Hideo Kojima. I want to see him kind of let his mind just go to sleep one night, have a couple of drinks, maybe a tab of LSD, then wake up, and whatever he dreamt about is what he should make. I think
that would be crazy, whatever that is.
Yeah. PT, I was really bummed out. I mean, the likeness of Norman Reedus, and I played it, absolutely loved it. What happened? What happened? I think it all fell apart because of a lot of people say of funding or communication, but it wasn't any of that. Because didn't they try and start a Kickstarter? And they kind of turned it down and said, money's not the issue. Okay, so Guillermo del Toro and I think
Konami.
It's all falling apart.
Konami was the issue. Hideo Kojima has been having troubles with them for the last few years. When he decided, at the end of this Metal Gear project to actually walk away, everything that had his name on it, they took it off. I mean, they acted like a scorned lover. It's like if you leave your woman and you go over to your last woman's house and you look outside, you see this crazy bitch key in your car. That's what Konami did. They took his name off of everything that he was attached to. They took his name
that
off
crazy
the box
ex-girlfriend
arts.
that wouldn't let go.
They took his name off the posters. They took his name off everything, and of course, Silent Hill was a victim of this divorce as well.
So you're saying it was just all vindictive? It was just somebody wanting to be an asshole?
That's how it seems. They killed every project that he was involved in, and I think that they could have continued to work with Guillermo del Toro. I think they could have continued to work with Norman Reedus. But I think that the glue that was holding this whole project together was Hideo Kojima. Guillermo del Toro said he and Hideo Kojima had a fantastic work relationship. He tweeted this out. And so I think that the glue that was holding that project together was Kojima, and of course Kojima was no longer, allowed inside the house. His badge was on the front porch. And it was one of those situations with him and Konami. Konami's had a really notorious year for fuck-ups. This is like the ultimate year for Konami fuck-ups. It's like right now,
they don't seem to be interested in making video games anymore. Not like we're
mobile
used to.
games. Mobile games is where they're heading.
Yeah, that's what they said. Yeah, they said.
What do you think, JPOTT? What's the next step for Hideo Kojima? What's he gonna do next?
Mobile. I mean, that if you think about it, money is in mobile devices right now. It is absolutely a lucrative business right now, and people who don't capitalize on it, they're farther and farther behind the curve.
Yeah.
And I mean, some of these developers are even going to mobile, and it's a shame to see it that way, especially with the fallout of Silent Hills. Here we're talking about a $1 million franchise that could be for next generation, and you want to kill it because of bad blood? I mean, it's terrible. It's immature, if you ask me. I don't know what to say about it. It's sour, very, very sour.
Robby, what do you think Kojima's going to be doing? What's his next project?
I really have no idea. I'm sure whatever it is, it'll be crazy. It'll be something really creative. But I think this whole situation just stinks. I mean, I feel like Konami was definitely like Kojima wanted to leave the company. He was saying, "This is gonna be my last game. I'm done. I'm finally done with making Metal Gear." And Konami was like, "No, you're staying. You're making more Metal Gear games. You're making us money." And Kojima said, "I've had enough of this. I'm done." And this
that woman,
stink happened. So
it's that crazy ass woman. Look, this.
What if he doesn't do a video game at all? What if he does like a anime or something? I could see him doing something like that. He's talking about doing movies. You know,
I'm into anime. I love anime. I'm all about that.
He's definitely got a flair for storytelling. You know, people love the stories of the Metal Gear games, even though I can't tell if they make any sense or not.
Wouldn't that budget a little more fair for as far as finances go? I mean, anime. That's a great suggestion. I never thought about that until just now. Great suggestion,
Mr. Rabbit.
Maybe he'll even do a porno. Who knows? Some crazy thing. I don't know.
Robby, what the fuck, man? Where does this shit come from?
Metal pole soft salad.
Yeah, I'm just saying he's crazy. I don't know. You never know what he's gonna do next.
Oh, inappropriate, man. Inappropriate.
Oh, like we've been talking about a long time. Okay.
Metal pole tossed salad.
Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible, Beasley. Come on, man.
All right. Should we wrap this one up, guys?
Yeah.
All right. JPOTT, thank you very much for coming on. It's been a pleasure. Where can people find you?
You can just search it in the YouTube search box, JPOTT Gaming. Shouldn't have a problem. I'm the only one out there. So, yeah, I mean, I thank you very much for inviting me on the show. I had a fantastic time.
Great.
Fantastic time.
I'll put a link to your channel, to JPOTT Gaming, down in the description of this video, too, so you guys can find them there. Robby, what are you up to this week?
I don't know. Playing Destiny, making videos on the movies. That's gonna be about it. We'll see.
Blank stare on his face. He's like,
Rocket League, buddy. Get into Rocket League.
Yeah, play that definitely. I guess I wasn't prepared for the question. Just
Beasley, how about yourself? What are you up to this week?
Come on, man.
Well, you guys talked about this Rocket League. That's what I'm going to go right now to play.
Yes, sir.
Sounds really exciting. I'm going to continue because Kate's like level 19 in The Witcher 3. I hate having so many games to play. I can't stop playing State of Decay. It's got its fingers in me. And I want to play some Destiny. I want to try to get to level 33 or 34 and go to the trials. And I got a great team of people to do it with me. So it's going to be a great week for me regardless. There's games everywhere, in every room. So it's something for me to constantly be doing. So I'm looking forward to a good week of gaming.
Awesome. I'll be putting out a new episode of Sharded or Keep It tomorrow on Monday. I'll be live streaming on Wednesday and Thursday on the Planet Destiny Twitch page, so you can check me out there. Other than that, I'll be kind of shooting from the hip.
Oh, okay.
I can't wait, Briar. I got tingles now.
I think that's going to wrap this one up, guys. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.